Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, you're in for a special treat, and with great pleasure, I want to introduce you to Lawrence. Yeah.
It's called American Free Poet Blues. Wake up. There is no freedom in America. Only constitution, prostitution with the organization of inflation by this administration of subliminal criminals who supersede with their greed, creed, and impede with all speed our need to succeed, then proceed to recede so as not to stampede the G-bead, R-bead, U-bead, I-bead, boomer, consumer. I mean, why are we sleeping? We listen to without thought the frantic, pedantic, who semantically pass laws that should cause pause, but lack the reflection to perceive the deception that since its inception has met with reception and is echoed by the hawking, gawking, news views of prodigious, religious, litigious, pro-life killers. And the government declaration of a proclamation without real representation, which castigates, infuriates, arbitrates, and remunerates the system of welfare addiction as the prediction of its infliction went ignored by this administration and its organization of devastation. While we lay captive, sleeping inside this barbed wire fence called freedom, we stand locked in the dream of freedom, which is the same name gain without gain under the acid rain of brain by the insane who with no strain detain us in their prison and with surgical incision cause division with smiles of derision and the sleeping with no vision locked in illusion suffer confusion and disillusion while the rich in seclusion offer only the infusion of diffusion. If God blessed America, where is she now? We hear the sobs of those without jobs unleashing mobs of children onto the concrete street replete with hatred, aching to complete the destruction initiated by those who assemble only to dissemble while they pretend to ascend, yet really intend to descend America into poverty and describe freedom with rhetoric that secretly proscribe it and ascribe to a diatribe of truth, because the truth will set us free. So we the poets must ascertain and entertain and retrain the mind with truth and look with disdain and refrain from our desire to abstain from our right to fight the right fight and hold in sight our need for ascent into descent. And we the poets, in order to form a more perfect union, must shout our souls loudly, clearly, and consistently to strike sharply into the ears and hearts of America, to wake the sleeping minds held captive inside this barbed wire fence called freedom. I'm going to do a silly one that I did a while back. It's called Stinking Peace.
Come up closer, Lawrence, if you would.
Stinking peace. I don't need no peace. I've got America and big wheel trucks and Hollywood movies and boxing and wrestling. I've got drive-bys, kids killing kids and everyone else in the way. I've got fertilizer and diesel fuel and the posse comitatus, the Aryan Brotherhood and the Bloods and the Crips and the trenchcoat mafia. I don't need no damn peace. I've got missiles and bombs and a standing army of killer kids full-grown and aching. I've got the CIA and the NSA, the FBI, the DEA, and the Secret Service. I've got SUDA and FUDA and FICA and the WHO. I've got the FDA and NASA and FEMA and OSHA. I don't need no freaking peace. I've got communism and socialism and democracy. I've got neo-Nazis, Christian Democrats, the Jewish Defense League, the NAACP, and the Nation of Islam. I've got countries and states and nations and islands and borders with armed guards to welcome visitors. I don't need no goddamn peace. I've got Catholicism and Buddhism and Shintoism and Protestantism, Judaism and Islam. I've got churches and mosques and shrines and the 700 Club. I've got Deepak Chopra, Anthony Robbins, Shakti Gawain, Baba Ram Das, Baba Mujahideen, Reverend Moon, and the Course in Miracles. I don't need no peace. I've got speed, heroin, crack, Valium, Prozac, pot, alcohol, Viagra, and euphoria by the ton. I've got AA, NA, OA, CA, COA, ACA, SLAA, and Al-Anon. I don't need no stinking peace. I've got every organization known to man working on it. What I need is release from this ironclad, unproductive paradigm of individual and cultural self-deprecation. Relief from the professed to know-it-all, cerebrally indigent guru guides offering pretzel logic, pseudo-spiritualism, and deep breathing as a door to peace. I need deliverance from the mediocre, fearing greatness, mass mindset of blandness and inane endeavor. That's what I need. I don't need no stinking peace. This is called Hungry. She was starving when the moment opened wide enough for me to see her. Hunger masked by science, masked by years of dispassionate morality. Her almost never unprotected eyes held the fierce light of hungry on the vergeness that fatter souls had forgotten. Starving for starvation, I fed her bits of my flesh, liquid from my eyes, the blood-red lines of my poetry, till her eyes unprotected themselves, and her hunger was in me, filling my fat soul with emptiness. This is called 902. I wrote this about the Oklahoma bombing, and it happened at 9:02 in the morning, so this is called 902. A last sip of coffee. Traffic. Always traffic. No time to drop off to dry cleaning. Daycare in the building. So much easier. Husbands, wives, children, lost in the flash of a moment when a bomb went off without warning at 9:02 in the morning. Cars melt, girders twist, comprehension lost in the exhalation of breath. Death, explosive and violent, dreams crashed in with walls and floors, hopes shattered like windows, tender lives ripped away when a bomb went off without warning at 9:02 in the morning. Stunned, uncomprehending. We watched bodies brought out, debris everywhere, tears, shock, and the bodies, Jesus, children. How? Why? Life changed permanently when a bomb went off without warning at 9:02 in the morning. A new sadness was added to our hearts, a new fear to our souls. Madness, cruelty, politics, the media sharks come to feed. We saw it all, labeled terror in Oklahoma when a bomb went off without warning at 9:02 in the morning. In the flash of a moment, lives ended, sanity ended, safety ended, trust ended, freedom ended, wisdom ended, and so much childhood ended when a bomb went off without warning at 9:02 in the morning. It's a takeoff of, I'm sure I'm going to offend some people, but I don't care. It's a takeoff on the Pledge of Allegiance, okay? So, and it goes like this. I pledge allegiance to the flag, and to DuPont, and to Standard Oil, and to Big Pharma, and to Chevrolet, Ford, Chrysler, and to the Federal Reserve and Wall Street, the First National Bank, and MasterCard, and the $18 trillion mortgage of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, chained with greed and ecclesiastic bigotry. One nation, its people on their knees, wrists slashed with the promise of exsanguination under God, her fierce eyes loving, her fierce eyes brutal, her whispered words dashing on the lying rocks, promise that we are indivisible, unable to divide, indivisible, with liberty surrendered, her torch laid down beneath the feet of safety, in some fearful place where both just disappear, and a nation proclaims in unheard voice, and justice, and justice, and justice for all. Let's see if I can do this one. This is called Resistileros, and I wrote this because I was watching a documentary or something. It was about these kids in Rio de Janeiro, I guess. And they were sniffing this stuff, this glue, this shoe glue, called Resistol. And the thing about it was that there were very few shoemakers there, but there were hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of gallons of Resistol for the kids, you know, in every shop on it. And the real thing was that every once in a while, the kids, being bothersome and loaded on this glue, got rounded up by the local police, taken to the garbage dump, and shot. And so I heard that. This is called Resistoleros. I can see you running through the alley. I see Lupe broken on the ground. You've got her soul dripping from your Jesus palms as you move quickly from the sound. You can hear him moving in the shadows. Your glazed eyes won't take you through the black. You've put your wet rag to your cherub lips as you lay down on your back. And you say, just a little Resistol, amiga, and I won't want to eat tonight. A little Resistol, compadre, and I can make it through this fight. A little Resistol, hermana. I see my angel hovering in flight. Just a little Resistol tonight. All you ever wanted was your childhood and an end to all the poverty and pain. But the policia has you in his eye, and his violence knows your name. So close your eyes, my sweet Resistolero. Be sure to say your prayers tonight. You'll see your angel hovering up above you, but you won't see the early morning light. Resistoleros dying in the alley. Resistoleros dying in their flight. Their Jesus souls dripping from our greedy hands on another Resistolero night. Just another Resistolero night. Their Jesus souls dripping from our greedy hands on another Resistolero night.
You don't have to stop at that one.
It's not only that.
That's volume 3.
I need a gun. Big bore, heavy caliber, a totally automatic, arrogantly unsilenced, dangerous sniper bullet weapon of choice, with a huge magazine holding pages of poetry. I'd move brazenly among the sleeping masses, a wildly laughing poetic hitman, shooting them down one by one with verse, near fatal, thought-provoking verse. I could stand on corners, armed to the teeth with Sandberg, Frost, Dickens, and Dion, Sappho, Blake, Whitman, and Basho, shooting shoppers with bullets of passionate prose. Drive-bys? I'd do them gladly. Hitting whole groups of people, senses milled by mediocrity. Staccato blast from a 59 drop-top Cadillac. Shots of jazz poetry, quick, straight to the head. Political hits? My specialty. A hardcore wake-up. Slap on my super heavy-duty night vision sniper scope, squeeze the trigger, and bang! A head full of earth. Blam! A tiny, shrunken heart fills with haiku. Yeah, I need a gun. Big bore, heavy caliber, with huge magazine holding pages of verse. I'd fill the dying soul and empty heart of America with pure, unadulterated, high-speed, hot lead poetry.